Well, welcome Guy Pearce to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you here.
It's nice to be here.
Normally we're chatting to you about film projects or television shows. This time it's music. You've talked a little bit about, you know, having a music career or at least putting an album out so many years after you initially wanted to. Why now?
Well, I think it's just, you know, you slowly dissolve and dilute all those fears that you have, you know, over time, and eventually, you know, through the help of other friends and sort of the inspiration of other collaborators, you realise that, you know, it's actually time to just get this stuff out, you know. I mean, making music is a very personal thing, as everybody who makes music would realise, and anybody who appreciates and listens to music would realise. And I think one of the things, you know, that I had to sort of deal with many years ago was, you know, obviously being an actor with lots of other actors having brought out music. It's a strange arena for anyone to deal with, I think. The press, the public, the actors themselves, the musicians. It's a strange kind of world. And I think my first reaction was to always go, no, it's all right, I won't inflict myself. It's all right, sorry, I even mentioned it, you know. And I've done that for 25 years.
And that's a long time.
Well, it is.
To sort of, I suppose I can see that it's clearly a very important part of your life.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people have said to me, no, you're absolutely right, you don't want to inflict, you're absolutely right. And finally somebody, Michael Barker, this wonderful drummer that I worked with in 2009, said to me, he said, without swearing, he said, stuff what people, for your own benefit, for your own sort of psychological growth, your own personality, you need to, you're a creative person, you need to move on and get this stuff out of your system and move on. And so I just saw it from a different point of view, I think, and I really just went, yeah, this is what I'm always wanting to do. So I was just able, and I guess I felt more confident about the music I was making, and more able to go, yeah, well, I'm going to do it, you know. Is
it like a fine wine, you know, that over that 25 or 30 years that actually your music's gotten better, and maybe it's so good now that it will have a better critical acclaim?
I don't know that it's so good now. That might be a little
I've had a listen
stretching
to the album, and I must say the songs are impressive. You know, this doesn't seem like a vanity project, and some will assume it is, because you find fame and wealth as an actor, and people assume, well, you know, he just wants to put out an album, as some have. But you're already getting early critical acclaim, and it sounds like you really have worked so intensely on this to make sure it's what you really want it to be.
Well, absolutely, and I've always, music to me is always, you know, even with acting work, it has to be, even though you're not playing yourself, it has to be completely honest. Otherwise, you know someone's going to go.
People can tell.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think even with the music, it's the stuff that I write. It's not necessarily about me. It's about the various people I meet in the world along the way. But just expressing myself through a musical sense it means so much. And so yeah, it just felt like it was time. And you know, I do feel good about these songs. I feel like they kind of sound alright, and you know, they've been mixed well, and the musicians are incredible. So you know, so I feel I have confidence in regard to sort of being able to have other people hear them. I understand that there will be people that are critical because of the nature of, you know, that's just the nature of anything in the public eye. That's right. But you know, I sort of don't care now, to be honest.
Russell Crowe's another one who obviously loves music and has had his own band. Did you ever jam behind the scenes on LA Confidential? I can't help asking that.
We had a few good plays. I mean, I'm not a great guitarist, to be honest, so I mean, Russell's a much more formidable guitarist than I am, but so we sat and compared notes and played a few songs together at times, and you know, I've done that with a few actors along the way. I mean, Rob Pattinson's a really great songwriter.
Is he?
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
So on the Rover, we had a bit of you know, a bit of time together playing music. So I think a lot of actors, I mean, it's like saying, how come all scientists are interested in maths? You know, they're just forms of expression.
Creative, exactly, creative souls. I'm interested, obviously the album's out, Broken Bones is out in November, and I'm interested, you're playing one show here in Sydney at the Basement, and obviously launching it in Melbourne. Any more shows, or are you a bit nervous about touring live, or you sort of?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think, you know, I'm pretty old now, so.
You're not too old.
Well, I mean, I tour and I travel so much with films that really the idea of getting on the road again isn't really my, you know, prime objective. I love being in the studio. I love what you can do in there. I love the detail and the focus that you can get. I do love playing in front of people as well. That's great. And I think I'd probably like to do that.
Does it make you nervous at all?
It does. I get nervous about my playing more so than my singing. But I think it's that then becomes a real juggle of time. I kind of go, well, hang on, if I plan a tour and that's January, February, what if a great film comes up and I've got to...
Fair enough too.
So that's a trickier thing to work out. Whereas last year I knew I needed to take some time off, and it really gave me the time to finish the record. But as far as planning ahead, I sort of gave up on that a few years ago, trying to plan ahead.
Well, you've got a couple of big film projects. I know this is mainly about music, but you've done equals with speaking of the Twilight double, you've had Robert Pattinson and now Kristen Stewart.
Well, the funny thing is I haven't watched any of those Twilight movies, so I should have just got them to...
interesting.
I should have got them to act out all their scenes
They
for
might
me.
be a little relieved, I think, given the attention they get around it. But, you know, what else have you got coming up? Holding the Man, I believe you've signed to?
That's right. So I'll start doing that in Melbourne in a few weeks. And I'm doing a small role in a film called Genius with Nicole Kidman and Colin Firth.
Wow.
And Laura Linney and Jude Law in London. But that
sounds great.
So I'm juggling those two films and this upcoming sort of launch. And I did a film in Austin, Texas called Results for Andrew Bajolski with Kobe Smulders and Kevin Corrigan about 6 or 8 weeks ago or something. So that'll come out sometime. Playing an ageing Aussie fitness instructor.
Oh my God, I love the sound of that. Is there Lycra involved?
Not that I wore.
I've got a Richard Simmons thing.
Kobe wore some Lycra. Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly you're loving it. I mean, do you ever pinch yourself? I mean, you've come so far, but you seem so down to earth. You've sort of avoided the paparazzi trap of a lot of stars of I suppose, of your stature who've been in enormous films. How have you stayed so grounded?
I don't know. I mean, I've got great friends. I've got a wonderful wife, and I think I just stay out of it. To be honest, I finish work, I come home, and I just sort of hide away from it all. Get in the studio. So, not to suggest that people in the paparazzi want it, but I do sometimes wonder whether if you operate on a certain frequency, you draw a certain kind of attention to yourself.
Yes.
I don't know. You've got. I always say that I'm a bit boring, really, but
I don't know about that, Guy Pearce. We're thrilled to have you here, and we can't wait to hear your songs. Thanks so much for coming in.
No worries. Thank you.